Sir, we are live now.
Hello.
Yes, sir. You can start the session by introducing yourself.
Yes.
We are live now.
Yes, Saurabh.
Sir, we are live now.
Yeah. Shall I start to share the screen?
Yes, sir. You can start by introducing yourself. Yes.
Okay. Then my topic. YouTube. How do I get my slideshow slide?
Sir, click on share screen.
Huh? Screen?
Click on share screen. Share screen.
Share screen. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I got it. Got it.
Yes,
Now,
sir. Your slides are visible now. You can start.
okay. I'll just move my camera on the corner. So it's on a big screen. It can say this. One second. Okay, I go back to this. ऊपर क्या है? Okay. Hello.
Hello. Yes, sir.
Now see my slide shows on my. You can see me on camera.
Yes, sir. Your slides are there, sir. Your
You
slides
can
are there
see.
on screen.
Yes. Now I would like to go back. I would like to go back. This slide is historical. There are 2-3 slides before.
Oh, you need to stop sharing, sir.
Stop. Yes. Stop sharing. हाँ अभी आया सौरभ तुम्हारा नाम आया.
Yes, sir.
अभी क्या करूं?
अभी से आपने स्लाइड शेयर की थी ना? You have shared the slides already.
Yes.
You can start with the presentation, sir.
Share the screen, no?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Share screen.
और उसके बाद?
Yeah. अभी आपका स्लाइड सिलेक्ट कीजिए. You can select your slides.
मैंने सेलेक्ट किया.
अभी शेयर पे क्लिक कीजिए.
ओके. या अभी आया.
Yes, sir.
आई गो कॉर्नर.
अभी इसको स्लाइड शो मोड पे कर दीजिए और स्टार्ट कीजिए सेशन, सर.
स्लाइड शो एंड from the beginning.
Yes, sir. Cool. Yeah.
Okay, क्या गया? कैमरा मेरा ऊपर आया है.
सर आपकी स्लाइड्स बराबर विजिबल है, सर. आप स्टार्ट कर दीजिए सेशन.
बस आ गया हो गया.
Yes, sir.
Our experience in imaging pains in cartilage tympanoplasty. Okay. Now you can introduce now. How many audience you have for today?
Sir, that we can come to know later.
Okay, fine. Yeah. So now you can start the introduction.
Yes.
This is a little big topic. I'll have to go through all details. So 3 o'clock now. Hello, Saurabh.
Yes, sir. Tell me.
You can start now introduction.
Yes, sir. You can start from the introduction.
Are you starting in my introduction?
No, you have to start yourself introduction.
Oh, lovely. Very good.
Yeah.
Okay. Good afternoon, friends. It's a real pleasure to give you next presentation, and the particular presentation is very important from the practice in front of you. All our ENT surgeons are doing a lot of tympanoplasty. Now, today's topic I have selected is our experience in emerging trends in cartilage tympanoplasty. This is my book being published now, and you can get it from publications there, the JP publications. The Mirko Toss, one of the authologists of the world, has given a foreword for this book. Now this is my hospital, Department of Otolaryngology, KM Hospital, Pune. It's a 600-bedded hospital. I've been working here for the last 45 years. I have a big department. I have 8 consultants working in my department, and a lot of workshops, seminars, symposia, national, international being done by my department. So today's topic we have taken as the cartilage tympanoplasty. I'll give you a brief historical background. In 1959, first cartilage plasty was done by Utek. In 1963, Salon used septal cartilage for grafting. And in 64, Goodhill used tragal cartilage with perichondria. In the same year, 64, Hirman and Hirman used tragal conchal cartilage in laryngoplasty. And the same year, Benzer used pig bladder in tympanic membrane reconstruction. Now, our study design was about 600 cases. The laryngoplasty group was about 300 cases. Ossiculoplasty were about 120 cases. Osseous plasty, that is the reconstruction of the posterior superior quadrant defect, attic defect, stretch to defect, and annular defects. So these defects were constructed by cartilage. Fourthly, mastered obliteration, about 70 cases, and total cases were about 600 during the time which we have done for last 7 years. So now the most important part in this is the mucosal traction theory. Mucosal layers of tympanic membrane and middle ear lining undergo constant migration. If mucosa of TM and ossicles are coupled by mucous fibrous adhesions, migratory forces pull mucosa towards the incus. And mucosal traction plays a stronger role than stretch into dysfunction in forming of cholesteatoma. Now, why we choose cartilage? There are definite plus points for the cartilage being used in reconstruction. Now, this is an ideal graft, and these are the criteria of the graft. It is easily available, it is inexpensive, it is inert and non-toxic, it is easy to mold, it has a minimum exclusion and absorption, it does not induce foreign body reaction, it has immune competence, and hearing improvement with 15 dB of DC. So these are the ideal graft criteria. This is the book I have shown you now. And excellent elasticity and tension. It maintains volumetric integrity. Minimum exclusion and absorption rate, that is 1.19 in our series. Very cost effective as compared to other graft materials. And cartilage slicer preserves the perichondria on both sides. This is a very important point during your cartilage tympanoplasty surgery. If you can use slicer, which has got the 3 blades, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3 mm thickness. Nextly, distinct advantage of tragal cartilage. It is stiffer consistency. Number 2, minimal shrinkage and lateralization. Number 3, natural angle of the perichondrium for annular reconstruction. And fourthly, being a mesenchymal, it lacks secreting glands and hair follicles, therefore good for inlay grafting. Cartilage worldwide accepted grafts in middle-ear reconstruction. So it has a definite role. Therefore, tympanic membrane reconstruction is advanced middle-ear pathology. You can do optical reconstruction. Attic, posterior superior quadrant, angular, and strategic defects can be repaired, can be closed. In atelectic hair, particularly cholecystoma and retraction process, cartilage is used very commonly with good results. And in high-risk perforations and sometimes revision tympanoplasty, cartilage is an ideal graft for reconstruction. In reinforcement of tympanic membrane in props and props is also used. Now, just to show you some various defects in tympanic membrane, see now this is just a traumatic perforation. Secondly, you can see now the perforation with tympanosclerosis and small adhesions near the handle of the malleus. This is the central perforation showing you handle of the malleus, ossicular, incursosepal joint, and round window. This is the central perforation with the defects you can see now. This is the small central perforation. This is the case which has got the cholecystoma in the attic. This is again adhesive media with cholecystoma attic, the perforation. Now let us see various grafts used in temporal fascia. Now there are so many grafts being used in the reconstruction of tympanic membrane perforations. Number one, most commonly used, the temporal fascia. Secondly, tragal perichondrium. Thirdly, conchal perichondrium, tragal or conchal cartilage, periosteum, vein and fatty tissue, subcutaneous tissue, fascia lata, ear canal skin, and heterotrophic skin. So these are the various grafts being used in reconstruction of the tympanic membrane. Now, indication for cartilage tympanoplasty. Number one, tympanic membrane perforation reconstruction, ossicular reconstruction, in the reconstructions of the attic, posterior superior quadrant, and angular defects. Tympanoplasty for chronic restorative obstruction is the fourth indication. Fifthly, mastoid cavity obliteration. Sixth, high risk perforations and retraction pockets. Seventh, recurrent cholecystoma, and tympanosclerosis and adenoiditis media. And lastly, but not least, is the revision tympanoplasty. So these are common indications for cartilage tympanoplasty you can use in your practice. Now, coming to the classification of cartilage tympanoplasty. I have grouped them in three phases: cartilage tympanoplasty with palisade arrangement, strips arrangement, and slices. Number two, cartilage tympanoplasty with foils, thin plates, and thick plates. And cartilage tympanoplasty with cartilage perichondrium, composite island grafts. These are the three various classifications. Coming to the cartilage tympanoplasty technique, there are four distinct techniques commonly used in our practice. They have been using it now for last many years, in 1980. Number one is the cartilage perichondrium composite graft technique. Number two, palisade cartilage graft technique. Number three, butterfly cartilage graft technique with corporation with tops and tops. And fourthly, shield cartilage graft technique. So these are the four techniques commonly used for reconstructive surgery. Technique-wise, cartilage shield technique with conchal cartilage. Palisade technique is probably from the tragal cartilage, much easier to get started. Tragal cartilage strips. Then composite island graft with tragal cartilage and perichondrium, concha or concha. And inlay butterfly graft with tragal cartilage. So these are the techniques. These are the procedures depending on the surgeon's choice. You can use tragal cartilage, you can use conchal cartilage, and form the formation. Tragal cartilage harvesting. How do you harvest cartilage? Now, most important part you must keep in mind that the tragal cartilage, the dome of the cartilage can never be given incision. So cut on the medial side of the tragal, leaving about 2 mm tragal cartilage for cosmesis. If you take an incision in the dome, it becomes a very bad deformity, ugly deformity, particularly for females. Abundance 15 by 10 millimeter flat, 1 millimeter thickness. Pericardium from the side away from the external canal is removed. This is the step, tragal cartilage graft preparation. See now you can, 15 number blade is being used and I have used 2 millimeters below the tragal zone. This is how you prepare. This is the flap. Thirdly, you can use now, take the forceps into the this one is the skin and then open the tragal cartilage canal. Then comes the tragal cartilage open with this and it sees out the total cartilage was taken from the tragus, which is open with the pericardium. Now, preparation of cartilage strips with slanting cuts. This is very important if you are going to use palisade technique. So, whenever you are using palisade techniques, the cartilage strips should be cut into slanting fashions. So, they are easy and they overlap each other and form a new tympanum. Now, another most important part is the shaping the cartilage. There are various ways with the L-shaped strut, T-shaped strut, I-shaped strut with notch, Y-shaped strut, boomerang strut, cartilage thin and thick plates, and cartilage pericardium disc. For shaping the cartilage struts, we recommend the cartilage slicer and the cartilage slicer thickness between 1 to 3 mm. Ossicular reconstructions in difficult situations using various cartilage struts. Now I'll show you two pictures. Now see the defect in incurosepidal joint, which is restored, the defect by cartilage strut. The first shot shows there's a defect here, which is being corrected by putting a small strut between the lenticular process and stapes head. Secondly, if you have what missing incus and the stapes directly, the graft is fused, the value of foot plate assembly to the long cartilage strut. This is the long cartilage strut. Once chosen at the end of the malleus, I go to the stapes. Thirdly, now there is no incus, there is no malleus. You can use L-shaped graft, assembly with L graft. Then sometimes you can use a boomerang, the bow graft, which is got in a particular fashion in the stapes head and the tympanum. Tympanoplasty assembly. Now the palisade graft is being done. You can see now there are two ways. Either you can use horizontal grafting or you can use a vertical strut parallel to the handle of the malleus. So this is, now you can see now the tympanic membrane. There is a mastoid cavity shows. There are palisade grafts are kept there and simple things are simple strips of cartilage in the mastoid cavity is kept. Now palisade graft assembly. If you have got this, there are 3 strips kept here and 1 plate is kept over the stapes head. Mastoid obliteration with cartilage composite graft. After your surgery, if you want to obliterate the mastoid cavity, you can use various strips of cartilage and fill up the mastoid cavity and use the temporal fascia or the temporal muscle, including to the mastoid cavity obliteration. Now, stapes assembly with cartilage plate. Again, you can see now there are 3 strips. This is the number plate, cartilage plate, stapes of the stapes head. This goes to the stretch and tube. On this is the support in the hypotympanum. Now, my different techniques I have used here. First technique is the interlay butterfly technique. It was originally designed for small perforations, meningoplasty without cholesteatoma. Inlay technique is without elevation of tympanometry flat. Many times you can see a small perforation where you don't need to do complete elevation of the tympanic membrane. You can use directly through and through technique. Quick office procedure expanded recently to repair large perforations in conjunction with mastectomy and split thickness skin graft over pericardium or large perforation. So this is how you can do an interlay butter graft. Now the preparation of the butterley graft. After taking the tragal cartilage, you can use between these forceps and a small knife, make a small incision and make a small groove so that slowly on all other sides, you see, and it becomes just like a grommet. So this is how, this is the cartilage being kept now here. The cartilage is kept here after this wash. These are the three different plates. You can see now, this is the handle of the malleus, this is the cartilage, this is one more plate, one more plate. So this is how we form the new tympano. Now, after this, suppose you are using the props and props. The cartilage is an ideal thing to use for this procedure. You say after putting this, after the reconstruction, you can cover this with the cartilage. This is a post-operative, you can see palisades post-operative results. These are the strips of palisades where I have kept a small space here. Sometimes people may get secretive patispatia or sometimes you have to use a grommet or thing. You can do a maringotomy and put a grommet in. Now this is the post-op pericondium cartilage island graft. This is the final result of the graft. Now in our series, the extrusion rate commonly used graft materials. Autografts 1.19%, this is our choice. Titanium gives 2.6% extrusion rate. Isograft has 3.06 and synthetic graft gives 5.04. Human dentin is 7.14 and gold prosthesis, which was sometimes very popular but has a very high rate of extrusion. Therefore, gold prosthesis is practically gone from the procedures now. It is about 8.7%. Now, my recommendation, atraumatic interventions both with the graft and donor place. Use graft with pericondium on both sides. Provide good conditions for epithelialization of both sides of the cartilage graft. Save the keratinoid squamous epithelium of the eardrum remnant for covering the cartilage epithelium. Always use 15 number blade rather than scissor in cutting the graft while harvesting. Why I am telling you this? The blade will give you a clean incision, whereas the scissor will crush, and crushing is not recommended for the cartilage. It will jeopardize. In onlay technique, the cartilage graft is placed from the divided edge of the lamina propria and the epithelium, and epithelium is replaced onto the pericondium. In underlay technique, epithelialization of the outer side of the cartilage is easy if the graft is in close contact with the undersurface of the eardrum remnant. There is certain criticisms in place with tympanoplasty, cartilage tympanoplasty, and the criticisms are: it's a time consuming to shape the cartilage, being opaque, difficult surveillance, its rigidity of cartilage raises concern about the audiologic outcome. But study revealed cartilage plasty results are better than temporal fascia in our series. In conclusion, cartilage tympanoplasty is reliable technique in reconstruction of tympanic membrane and articular cell reconstruction. Hearing results after cartilage tympanoplasty is comparable to temporal fascia graft. Choice of the technique depends on the surgeon's preference, status of articular chain, cholecystoma tube, presence of cholecystoma, etc. Results are better in dry years than wet years. Problems encountered in our study were infections, fibrosis, and displacement. In our series, it was a very minimum extrusion rate, about 1.19%. We strongly recommend tragal cartilage and pericondium in reconstructive tympanoplasty. Cartilage tympanoplasty is now accepted worldwide as a common procedure in mid-layer reconstruction. This is a book which I have published, Tragal Cartilage in Mid-layer Reconstruction, and Mirko Toss, one of the leading pathologists of the world from Copenhagen, has given the foreword for this book. This is my next book, that Emerging Trends in Cartilage Tympanoplasty, is also available on medical bookstalls. Last but not least, very special thanks to these stalwarts: Professor Plester Group, Germany, Professor Mirko Toss, Denmark, Professor John Damu for USA, and Professor A.G. Chakar, Mumbai, for their innovative work. Thank you very much for your patient listening. If you have got any query, any questions, I will be able to answer that. Thank you very much once again. Okay, Saurabh, I am back to you.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah, sir. You can stop sharing your slides now.
I have already finished.
You can stop sharing the slides. Your
Oh,
slides are still.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now if you have got
So
any.
actually, there are some questions also. So I will
Okay.
post one by one the questions in the
Hmm.
chat.
What are the questions?
So I posted the first question.
Mhm. The first question is, what is the ideal management? What is it? Just let me have the screen on this.
Sorry.
Let me read the question.
Yeah. Yes, sir. You can.
Cartilage tympanoplasty procedures I've been doing since 1980 after the Placers workshop in Bombay. And since then, I have followed them with all the techniques, and I was very happy with the post-operative results of cartilage tympanoplasty. Most of my cases are with cartilage tympanoplasty.
Hello.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
yes,
There is one more question which I'm
yes.
posting in chat.
Now the question is from everyone. Which imaging studies are used in the workup of tympanic membrane perforations? Not really. You don't need to do imaging studies for this because they are straightforward cases. You can clinically diagnose them with the centric perforation, static defect, posterior defects. But if your patient has a cholesterol, certainly CT scan and MRI is also done for these cases to go for further procedures. But most of the time, I think with the CT scan in cholesterol cases is enough. Unless you have got some other problem, then you can ask for the MRI. Next one.
Yes, sir. There is one more question. I posted in chat.
How is flat plug tympanoplasty used to treat tympanic membrane? Yes, very good question. I have done this one. I have got 2 cases with a fat graft. It's a very easy technique. Doesn't take long time. It's a very small time taken for the procedure. You can prepare the globules and make a small road incision. Take the graft out, put into the water, let it stir, and then make a small perforation. This is good for small perforation because big perforation it will not work. Small perforation definitely better. Use this one and then put the gel form. Directly the fat graft can go in the perforation, remaining at the periphery of the tympanic membrane perforation. You can cover with gel form and it stays quite good. But definitely only for small perforation.
There is a last question now.
Okay.
I'm posting in chat.
What is the contraindication for the treatment of tympanic membrane perforation? Yes, exactly. There is no contraindication as such, but cases of cholesteatoma particularly, unless the cholesteatoma is clear and you are sure that there is nothing left behind, then you can definitely use tympanic membrane reconstruction with cartilage or perichondrium. There is no contraindications at all. You can use it. Okay.
Yeah. There are no more questions, sir. And thank you very much, sir, for your valuable time and sharing some important insights on the topic in a very beautiful and executed manner.
Good. Thank you very much, Saurabh.
Yes.
Thank you. So we'll wait for the next session now. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Thank you.
Thank you, audience, for your time spent in listening this presentation. Thank you very much.
Yes. Bye, sir.
Okay. Shall I close?
Yes, sir. You can